So Abhay Nath is an IIT Kharagpur alumni himself. He has over 15 years of experience and has mentored students with 95% to 90%, and even students have gone on to top their board exams and state exams. So I'll not waste more of your time. We'll move on with the section right now. And here's Mr. Abhay Nath Jha for all of you.
Hello, good evening to you all. See, our webinar journey today regarding how to score excellent mark in your board examination in physics will go through like shown in the diagram. It will be topic wise weightage, then after that before the examination what we need to do on the exam day, then framing the answer, and after that important questions. You might have gone through this. Before you start preparing, of course, although you might have prepared, but doing, before proceeding, let us know the weightage of the different chapters in physics, how much marks they account for. The topic-wise weightage of the different chapters in physics and the corresponding marks are shown in the table. Electrostatics stand for 8 marks, current electricity for 7, magnetic effect of current as well as magnetism is 8, electromagnetic induction and AC is 8, EM wave is for 3 marks, optics which include both geometrical optics as well as wave optics is for 14 marks. And then in modern physics section, dual nature of matter, atoms and nuclei, electronic devices, communication systems together account for around 22 marks. So 22 marks and the subtopic wise the segregation is also shown. Dual nature is for 4, atom nuclei 6, electronic device for 7, and communication system is for 5 marks. We will come later on this topic also as to in which section we should focus more if you want to uh, improve or want to score much more marks with less effort. So later on we will discuss about these things. Right now we will be looking at what we need to do before the examination in these 2 days or 1.5 days rather, today and today and tomorrow, what needs to be done, what you should do, that is what right now we will be focusing on. The 2-day plan, uh, I hope, I expect also that most of you might have gone through everything, must have revised also. So in this day, 1.5 day, few things which you should take care of is like this. First, there is no need to be under pressure or intention or have any sort of fear. You concentrate, be focused, relaxed, but yes, concentrate and be focused on the topics which you have prepared. Revise all the formulae and the derivations. Preferably, if you can do, if you have any slightest of doubt in any particular derivation, you should write it afresh. Then devise a strategy for your study and revision also in this 1.5 day. This I think will include all the important results and smaller proofs. You should go through them. If you have revised also all these things, you have done this, then my advice will be you should solve one test paper, model test paper, write it within the time constraint of 3 hours, preferably today itself, and then you should compare the solution, your solution, with the standard solution uploaded by the CBSE on the CBSE site also. The previous year paper will be there and the model solution also will be there of any student who has scored exceedingly well. So you can write that paper yourself, and then you can compare your answer with that, with the answer which has been uploaded. Uh, in this comparison, you can just see as to which areas you need to work on, uh, whether your answer is too lengthy, whether there was some problem in solving or either writing all the questions in time, you could not complete them, etc. These things you can do that. Preferably, if of course you have not gone through, then you must go through the 10-year board papers. And in this process, whenever you feel exhausted, please do take care and to take a small break. Do not leave the topic which take less time and have higher weightage. Uh, of course, you should avoid calculation errors and silly mistakes, especially during the examination. Take care of this. Consume a light meal, avoid junk food. Day prior to examination, you must have sufficient sleep. And above all, there is no need whatsoever to be in panic. It serves no purpose. So, these 2 days, if you have prepared very well, exceedingly well, you have revised also, then what you need to do, we had just discussed those things. Now, what you need to do on the exam day. Let us see. On the examination day, reach the exam center half an hour before the reporting time. You should not be in a haste while reaching the destination. Sorry, you should of course reach the destination much earlier so that you have time to slightly acquaint yourself with the environment there. But prior to that, of course, you must have a light breakfast. You should not eat much so that you feel heavy and drowsy, and you should have a light breakfast so that you don't feel hungry during the examination also. Now, once you are in the exam hall, when the question paper is given, around some time is given for you to go through the paper separately. That time is given to go through the paper. So you go through the paper, look at the section which you find very easy. Preferably start with easy questions that will make you comfortable, will de-stress you also, so that you will, this will enable, or you will, this will ensure that you don't commit mistakes or silly mistakes later on. You have to plan in such a fashion that you should not leave any question unanswered. You must write the answer to all the questions. Now, in numerical problems while solving, you see to it that you write the formula and the concept used for solving the problem before substituting the numerical values. This is very important. If you will not write the formula or the concept, the marks will be deducted. One more thing, that you should write all the parts of a particular question at the same place. Write legibly. Do not waste too much time on one question. Your answer should be comprehensive but crisp. Don't forget to write the units in final answer. This is the common mistake. In many situations, the child does not write the unit in the final answer. If you are not writing the unit in the final answer, your marks will be deducted for that. So do take care of that. Now, the art of framing an answer. How should you write the answer? Because see, even if you know thing, if you are not representing it well, you will not fetch good marks. So what you should take care while answering, say 3 marks question or 5 marks question, this is also important. You should write comprehensively. Of course, all the aspect of the thing or of the problem which has been asked must be answered to. But simultaneously, it should not be so comprehensive that it consumes a lot of time. Your answer should be comprehensive, but it should be crisp as well. How you can achieve? Just I gave you an idea that you should write a model test paper tonight, and then you can compare your answer with the model answer uploaded there at the CBSE site too. That will give you an idea for a particular problem as to what should be written and what should be avoided. Your writing should be legible, neat handwriting should be there. Definitely, it casts a good impression. Uh, Instead of writing much especially in physics, if you want to write many things in words only, it will take long sentences and many things you will need to write. You will have to write. You can cut on these and save on time by using proper symbols and diagrams. You can use diagrams. Your diagram should be neat, of course. Preferably, it should be made with pencil and scale. So use diagrams, symbols in that, and then use those symbols in the diagram effectively to cut short on the words and the length of the answer. That will save you in time also, and it will be crisp and effective answering way. Mention formulas and equations clearly while solving the problems. And whenever you write a principle or uh, concept, it is always advisable to explain with example. Of course, that example should be short rather, should be small, should be less time consuming, but wherever relevant, it must be used. And finally, your answer must have unit and it should be in a box. You box it. In numerical, of course, it should be boxed. Final answer should be, so that finally it could be seen that yes, this is the answer. If you uh, take care of these few things, definitely your presentation will be better. It will be effective and you will be able to fetch good marks. Now, now these were some of the few things which many of you or most of you must have prepared well, can take care of, so as to score good marks also, effectively write the question and the answers to the questions. But if few of you might not have well prepared, you might not have for some reason gone through all the sections, or still there are something you think that you need to go through which uh, can fetch you good marks, we can focus on these things now. Now, see, uh, I have a question from Ritik. Ritik wants to ask as to what should be done in semiconductor, what to do. Well, in though semiconductor devices quite a long chapter, but yet there are few things in semiconductor which can be from board perspective, from the board's point of view, which can be uh, memorized easily and which can fetch you marks as well. Like in semiconductor devices, if you want to go through it completely right now, it will not be possible. If you have gone through it previously also, then there are few subtopics of it which will take less time. You can memorize it. There is no need to understand that right now. You can memorize it and you can reproduce it. You can you can write the answer. Like in semiconductor devices, PN junction, its use as diode for rectification, half wave rectification and full wave rectification. That is a quite a theoretical portion. That theoretical portion you can go through in less than say in half an hour or so, or 45 minutes. It will not take much time. But yes, 3 marks question maybe up to 3 marks question can be asked based on this, generally are asked. So you can go through that particular section if you have not gone through the semiconductor devices as such per se. Then there is transistor and its use as amplification in common mode, common emitter mode. This also, though very difficult to comprehend logically, if you want to understand right now, at this stage, if you want to understand this, it will be difficult. But yet, you can remember the diagram. It is not that difficult to remember. You can remember the circuit diagram. You can reproduce the circuit diagram. Then you can explain a little bit of it, how it is used for amplification or amplifier. So these two are the things in semiconductor which generally theoretically is used for 3 or 5 marks question. You can score uh, good marks in these two with less effort. Okay. Anything else? Well, so we can discuss this way all the chapters also, and the few important questions which could be from those chapters which could be done at even at this stage. If you of you who have not done and still want to get a decent score, you can attempt these only derivations and questions which will not individually take much time, yet they can give you a good mark. Like in electrostatics, the most important part and the question which mostly in many times have been asked in board is Gauss theorem and its application to find the electric field due to a long linear charge distribution, large plane sheet of charge, and a spherical charge distribution. Now, these all three things, like Gauss theorem and its application for finding the electric field due to these three charge distribution, this whole thing can be completed in 1 hour of study. So you can go through them. There are questions asked on this of 3 to 5 marks question. So first part is this, and secondly, in electrostatics, you can go through the derivation of the formula for the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor with a dielectric as well as the energy stored in a parallel plate capacitor. Now this segment also will not take more than 45 minutes or so. It will take hardly 30 to 45 minutes if you want to revise it or if you want to even understand it or write it. So you can go through them. It is possible that the question may ask from these two. Similarly, in the next chapter, in, in current electricity, Wheatstone bridge you just can go through. Sometimes it is asked. If you don't, if you have paucity of time, then you can ignore that from current electricity. In magnetics, explanation and working of a cyclotron and moving coil galvanometer. Together with Biot-Savart's law, simply statement of Biot-Savart's law, you can go through that, Ampere's law, you can go through the statement of Ampere's law, and then after that you can go through the working, construction and principle of moving coil galvanometer. Now this will not take much more time, it will take hardly half an hour to 45 minutes. And similarly, for cyclotron also it will take around half an hour. So in 1 hour you can complete this. You can do that, 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes. Next, in electromagnetic induction and AC generators have been mostly, many times it has been asked. Now this is also something which you can just uh, understand also, you can memorize it as well, you can remember it, learn it and reproduce it. For a long answer type question, this is a very important segment, AC generator, which will take around half an hour or so. And you can go through mutual inductance and self-inductance of coaxial solenoids if the time is, because that will also not take much time, it will be around half an hour or so it will take. After that you can look at optics. In optics, in the wave optics, Huygens principle and using it to prove laws of reflection and refraction. You can go through them. Uh, though this use of geometry. So if you have not, if you are weak in geometry, it may prove to be a little ticklish. You can avoid them at that stage if you are not able to understand it. But if you are able to understand it, then it will not take much time. It will take hardly half an hour or so. Next is Young's double slit experiment and difference between interference and diffraction. Questions invariably are asked either from Young's double slit experiment or from diffraction, and especially difference between interference and diffraction. So you can go through them. That also can be done in around 30 minutes to 45 minutes. This is in wave optics, which at this juncture you can go through if you have not gone through earlier. In the geometrical optics section, uh, some derivations are important, namely derivation for the formula of refraction at spherical surfaces. This is also many times it has been asked. In board, many questions are repeated. So going through the paper of previous year questions of the CBSE board also will give you an idea as to what all things can be done at this juncture. So this derivation of the formula of refraction at a spherical surface is very important. You can go through this. This will also not take much time. And then derivation of the formula for lens and mirror. That also you can go through. And it will take very less time, namely the last one, ray diagram for a telescope and compound microscope. Care should be taken that the ray diagram for the telescope or for a compound microscope, which you can go through, it will take hardly 15 minutes or so to completely do it. While drawing the ray diagram, you should use the pencil scale. Proper ray diagram should be drawn. Proper direction of the arrow should also be shown in the figure. If you do like this ray diagram, it will take hardly not more than 15 or 20 minutes. But yes, many times the questions are asked from this topic. Then, apart from that, in the modern physics section, the last part, which include around 22 marks. Mostly it is subjective. You can go through them. There is no need to understand also at this stage. You can simply memorize them. You can remember them. You can memorize them, and you can write the answers to them. In communication system, usually length of antenna, modulation, and its necessity. This is also asked many times. Sky wave and ground wave propagation, and range of transmission and height of the transmission tower. These are the important segments which you can go through. In atomic physics, you must go through Bohr model of hydrogen atom. It will not take much time. In photoelectric effect, you can go through the photoelectric experiment and especially how it contradicted wave nature of light. Invariably questions are asked on this, and it also can be understood and very easily understood rather in half an hour or so, because these two things, namely hydrogen atom as well as the photoelectric experiment, you might have gone through, you might have studied in the chemistry also. So you can very easily go through these two, which will take very less time. Wave particle duality, de Broglie hypothesis. This is also important in the sense that around 4 marks questions are asked based on this. So you can go through them. This is a very small topic. And in nuclear physics, though it is a long topic, there are so many things, alpha decay, beta decay, all the things that cannot be understood or rather cannot be gone through at this juncture. But binding energy per nucleon graph is an important segment. There are many questions asked on based on this, which you can go through. It will not take much time, and the questions are asked, so there will be probability that you may be able to answer them. In semiconductor devices, PN junction is a diode, and its use as half wave rectifier rather and full wave rectifier. That you can go through. That is quite a theoretical thing. In that, you need to write, I mean, show the diagram, its biasing very clearly, and the output. The diagram should be neatly written. If you write simply, neatly write the output, a basic simple principle, and the circuit diagram, you will be able to get good score. And then NPN and PNP transistor as an amplifier in common emitter mode. That is also generally asked as long answer type question, which is theoretical, not very easily comprehensible, but yes, you can remember the diagram, circuit diagram, and then few sentences only need to be remembered, and finally input and output signal that need to be shown in the diagram. Phase relationship between the input and output, that also needs to be shown and expressed. Need not be explained, but expressed. Even if you are expressing it, you will be able to score the mark. Important derivations. As far as important derivations is concerned, few of the derivation will be, which is long answer type, and or I mean at least it will be of 3 marks questions for various chapters will be like this. We will start with the semiconductor devices only. First we will begin with the theoretical portion. In semiconductor devices, as I told, NPN transistor or PNP transistor, it's used as amplifier. Uh, though it is not derivation of a problem, but this is theoretical question for 3 marks. At least it will be there. That you can do. Then diode as a rectifier. This can be also written. Of course, it is not a derivation, but this is also theoretical of 3 marks question generally it will be asked. Formula, derivation of the formula as far as that is concerned, then in Bohr model, the energy derivation for the energy of the electron in different orbits, that derivation will be important in atomic physics. Uh, then in geometrical optics, the refraction formula for refraction involving object distance, image distance, and the radius of curvature of the refracting surface, namely mu2 upon v minus mu1 upon u equal to mu2 minus mu1 upon r. That formula is very important. Its derivation is many times asked. Lens and mirror formula, that derivation is also important. Formula that the formula for that its derivation. Uh, in telescope, magnifying power may be asked. Sometimes it is asked, but it is very few. Not many times it is asked. In in wave optics, uh, in Young's double slit experiment, the formula for fringe width, that derivation, that is asked invariably many times. That is asked. In diffraction also, sometimes the derivation for the width of the central maxima, that is asked. Then in EMI and AC, generally mutual inductance and self inductance for various situations, namely you may be required to find out derive the expression for the self inductance of a long solenoid, that can be asked, or mutual inductance of two coaxial long solenoids, that can be asked, or energy stored in an inductor, that can be asked. In magnetism, usually the application of Biot-Savart's for law or Ampere's law for finding out the magnetic field due to certain, say due to a circular current at its axial point, that can be asked, or using the Ampere's law to find out the expression for the magnetic field due to a long current carrying conductor, that can be asked. Then cyclotron frequency, derivation for the frequency of cyclotron, that formula, that derivation is important, that can be asked. Similarly, derivation of the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor with dielectric or with a metal plate. That can be asked, that is generally asked many times. And energy is stored in a parallel plate capacitor, the expression for that, that is also asked. And application of Gauss's theorem for finding out the formula of electric field due to a long charge distribution, long linear distribution of charge, or due to a very large sheet of charge, or due to a spherical charge distribution. That is also very important. That is many times asked. See, amplitude modulation and the frequency modulation. Of course, modulation and its need, rather the derivation is not that asking that is asked, but the need for why there is need for modulation of the wave sound of the wave using the carrier wave. That need for modulation is what is important. That is invariably asked. So you should focus on that. Circuit diagram of transistor. Yeah, circuit diagram of transistor. See, in any electronic or electrical thing wherein there is a need for circuit, you must show the circuit diagram. That will carry mark. If you will not show the circuit diagram, your marks will be deducted. It will serve two purposes. A, of course, you will not be losing out mark, and B, it will save you on time also, because in circuit diagram you can show so many things with symbols which you can use in while explaining. So it will be lesser, it will be, less number of sentences will be used to express or to explain them. So wherever possible, you must use the circuit diagram. Resolution in microscope, important. Yeah, I will not say that it is very important in the sense that, yeah, many times the questions have not been asked, but it will be useful for your further competitive examination also. It is a very small topic. Only one formula is used here for resolution. If you know that, then you can answer it very easily here also, and you're in competitive examination also, because in competitive examination, invariably in wave optics, especially in JEE mains, questions are asked on this. So it will serve you twin purpose. If the questions are asked here, which is possible, especially resolution power of telescope and microscope, based on that, what needs to be done, not numerical it will be there, but the factors which will be affecting the resolving power of a telescope or of a microscope, that is important. That subjective part definitely is important, that will be asked. 1D graph generator is not important. Resolving power तो हो गया. So regarding EM wave, yeah, EM wave you can go through. This is a small chapter. Um, very few things are there. That derivation earlier, long derivation is not no longer asked. In that, only displacement current, its definition, that is there, and then the spectrum, that part is there. So EM wave will not take much time, but then it is of only of 3 marks. So instead of focusing on this, you can focus on some other part which can fetch you more marks and which is very certain. Well, any other question? If you have any other question, you can ask, please. Yeah, AC generator uh, is important part, that is invariably asked, and you can go through this. You can, even if you have not been able to understand it clearly, you can write it. It is theoretical. Generally 3 to 5 marks questions are based on this, so you can go through that. EM wave and wave optics in one day, how? In wave optics, of course, you cannot go through all the portion, but there are certain things like Young's double slit experiment. Of course, you can go through them. That experiment, you can go through that. See the list of derivations and how much time will they take. We had just discussed. You can go through the slide. There, the important derivations of different chapters have been mentioned. You can go through them. What graphs are important? In dual nature node, there is no need for the graph as such. This is simply hypothesis. Graphs will be more importantly, it will be useful in photoelectron emission, photoelectric effect experiment. In that, it will be needed. How to remember transistors? See, to remember transistors, you can first of all, in stepwise, first of all, you remember or rather you focus on its circuit diagram. Generally, forward bias and reverse bias, that you know. So, taking care of forward bias and reverse bias, you can remember very easily the circuit diagram. Circuit diagram, once you understand the circuit diagram or remember, you have remembered the circuit diagram, then based on circuit diagram, you can memorize few sentences which you need to write, then input signal and corresponding output signal. You can go through that. NCRT, yes, NCRT important hai. From NCRT only the questions will be asked. Possible questions of wave optics. See, few problems may be asked numerical, or else most importantly the derivation for the fringe width or the location of the nth order maxima in Young's double slit experiment. That is there in wave optics. Amplifier refer to AC amplifier or DC amplifier? Yeah, it will be AC amplifier. It will be, see, generally the amplification by transistor is done of AC signal input, and AC signal input is superimposed on the DC, and finally using the filter circuit using capacitor, output is taken off the AC also. What about see, about electric potential at any point due to the electric dipole? Yeah, electric dipole portion is also there, and the question may be asked from there as well. We have discussed only about those things which you can do at this juncture in this 1.5 day only in the limited time for you to score mark. But yes, of course, if you want to get very good marks, then you have to go through all those things. Energy, once you have understood, I mean, energy stored in a capacitor, we have already discussed about that. So there also energy density can be found very easily. You can divide the energy by the volume. That will give you the energy density. Hysteresis loop may be asked, but it has been rarely asked. Is single slit is also, yeah, single slit experiment in diffraction or double slit experiment in Young's double slit experiment in interference, and comparison of diffraction and the interference. These three are more important part of the wave optics, apart from the polarization is also there. But if there is a question from interference, then there is not possibility of question from diffraction or vice versa. But mostly the questions are asked from interference itself. In EMI, electromagnetic induction, mostly Faraday's law. Based on that Faraday and Lenz law, there will be short answer type questions based on that. And otherwise AC generator, for long answer type question, AC generator will be there. Electromagnetism is quite large topic, which will have magnetic effect of current and the permanent magnets. Usually, elect- the questions are asked based on mostly that electromagnetic part, wherein Biot-Savart's law, use of Biot-Savart's law, or the effect of the magnetic field on a current carrying conductor, closed loop rather, based on which the moving coil galvanometer and cyclotron, these two are important parts which are asked. From atoms and nuclei, in atoms, Bohr model is the only thing. Bohr model is very important part. Of course, you can go through that spectrum, hydrogen spectrum, and the Bohr model, basic statement, postulates of Bohr's, and using them to derive the expressions for the energy. In Davidson and German experiment, yeah, of course, that is also important. See, actually, there are so many things important, but right now, in 1.5 day, you can focus more on those things which you can do them right now. In photoelectric effect, the photoelectron emission experiment and corresponding the graphs, frequency versus stop, in which stopping potential, saturation current, intensity, saturation current, intensity, potential, that graph, those three graphs are important. And how it contradicts the wave nature of night. That reasoning is important. Okay, thank you. All the best.
All right, guys, that was an awesome session by Abhay sir. Uh, Guys, I just wanted to let you know that we'll also be having a webinar dedicatedly for chemistry on the 8th, on 8th March, and a maths webinar on 14th March as well. So, in case you haven't already, do make sure that you've subscribed to our YouTube handle so that you'll be getting notifications about that, and make sure that you don't miss that one. It'll again be a short webinar. We're trying to make these ones fit in about 35 to 40 minutes, except for the Q&A. That can be as long as possible if we have good questions from all of you. And after these webinars, we'll also have dedicated webinars for JEE, Mains, Advanced, and BitSat as well. So make sure that you've subscribed to our YouTube handle. And that's about it. The video will be available to you guys as well on this same link. So in case you need to watch any portion of it again, just come back to this link and you'll be able to see and watch it as many times as you want. Thanks a lot, guys. See you on 8th.